are somewhere on here. We're letting everybody know Discord, Kit Bash, all the stuff. We're letting people know we're live, live, live.
We are live, and we're gonna blow some minds.
All right,
Let's
so it's
open
me,
the
Web
mind.
C, the model Rocketeer, and we got Bit Clotwise watching with us. We are going to be looking at the Bob Lazar Area 51 and Flying Saucers full movie. Was just released on YouTube, full press. So we're gonna give this a watch and a listen, and everybody just have a good time. So we'll get right into it.
This is gonna be nuts. Oh my god, I'm so excited. I don't know. I'm gonna piss myself already.
Oh wow, dude! I think you might want to go to the little UFO.
This is right up the alley, man. This is right where we all need to be right now. So for everybody that's listening, seriously, take it with a grain of salt, but think about this shit. We live in this. It's 2022. We live in a world that is everything your mind makes it up to be.
Nature of reality, about our relationship to the creative force that forged the particles of our stars and intertwined them with the molecules of our bodies. Who are we? And where are we actually sitting within the architecture of our universe? Are we alone? Or is the answer simply stranger than we can think? My name is Jeremy Corbell. I seek to weaponize your curiosity. And if you're ready to suspend your own prejudice...
I told you this movie is like right where we are, like right where our mind state is
weaponize
today.
your intelligence.
Yep.
Hell yeah, I can get behind that.
Oh, weaponize your curiosity.
Hey, that's my pillow.
Hey, I didn't know I had your pillow.
Not you.
The
dog.
Yeah.
She's over here getting fresh with my pillow.
Find sneaky
you better get it.
And makes canceling them as easy as clicking a button.
Dude, this is so perfect. I'm sitting here journaling. I'm writing. Oh, dude, this is gonna be titties. Sorry, no offense. I want to take that back. It's pretty chauvinistic.
Well, I mean, if you recognize it as that, I guess it's that.
You might get in trouble for doing this. You might not. Who cares?
Researchers that there's a secret government within our government. Well, there's several, actually 9.
Oh god.
Flying saucers, flying discs that are out there of extraterrestrial origin.
Hold on. I forgot. Sorry, I had to plug my phone in, guys.
No, it's okay.
All right,
Bob Lazar is like one of my heroes. I love you, Bob Lazar. You're my hero.
Here's what I'm going to need you to do.
The Earth is not the center of the universe.
What's wrong with you?
At least not anymore.
What do you mean, what's wrong with me? I don't know what you're speaking of.
Oh, what do you need me to do?
I need you to turn the phone back on inside.
You need to do what?
I can't prove any of this.
Get the phone back to full screen.
What do you mean? It is full screen.
I know. I just looked over and saw that.
I'm gonna call the ushers down here and he's gonna beat you with his flashlight.
Oh shit! Not the flashlight.
I feel it, though I do not see it. It is this unseen power which makes itself felt. There is
The Witness.
Yep.
Reality simply isn't what it used to be. Things are not what they seem. Everything around us is a mental construct.
Oh my god, it is. Fuck.
Breaking that down is hard to do. And once it's done, there ain't no coming back.
I know.
Oh, here we go again.
What happens to people when their fundamental beliefs,
Just one more raid.
understanding,
One more raid.
explodes into a million pieces when something comes careening from out of the blue and it messes with everything we know? How do we react? How do we react?
Sweet. Sorry, guys. You're gonna see that kind of stuff.
Yeah, man.
Well, I mean, you want us to see it.
Well, I have no choice.
Well, I kind of think you did.
If I don't do anything I'm not supposed to do on my phone, so.
You got a backup phone for that, huh?
No, I just don't do anything I'm not supposed to do.
Oh man, you know,
I try to be a good person. I try.
I trust, officer. I trust.
Right?
As long as you don't run into Officer No Pants, you'll be just fine.
Shit. Officer Droopy?
Barney
Officer
Five.
Droopy.
There is an indefinable, mysterious power that pervades.
Beliefs are material things. They direct our lives and choices, moment by moment. They're stowaways to the imagination and boring. Harnessed to hunches, polished with proof. They're like clothing we can't afford. They elevate us, yet they're not ours to keep. We discard them when they no longer serve our needs, or we find out they weren't real at all. This story is extraordinary, especially if it's true. And it all started in the desert, just north of Las Vegas.
Thanks to Total Wine, you saved more on all the gifts for the ones
Commercial time.
Wine Spirit
Just north of Las Vegas.
It's alright. Just
Meanwhile,
north of Las Vegas. Area
Yeah.
51 and flying saucers.
I'm watching it on YouTube. This is awesome.
Area 51, secretive spots on the planet, is located on the northeast edge of the Nevada test site and is said to be where numerous top-secret weapons systems have been tested over the years. According to some UFO researchers, it's also where the government is test flying alien spacecraft. It sounds pretty far out. Some Las Vegas residents report having seen these flying saucers.
Some.
A local scientist who says he worked
I think it's more than some.
They have such good technology that their camouflage is unbelievable.
Sir, how do we know you are who you say you are and that you actually have
They use
knowledge about what's
electromagnetics
going
to
on
bend
in the lake?
bend the light.
Well, I guess there's no way you
Well,
can really know.
I've heard some of the terminologies
There's
for
really
them.
no way I could prove it without revealing my identity and getting
Like,
myself into more trouble than I have
Some
already.
people I know that were in the
Exactly
military
what's going on up
refer to them as ugly
well, there's
fuckers.
several,
There's
actually flying saucers,
another
flying
one
discs,
that's kind of like
that
that
are out
too.
there of extraterrestrial origin.
But
and they're
yeah,
being
there's
test
just
flown
a lot of the
and,
references are not
basically
friendly.
just analyzed.
You say there's 9 saucers. How are those tests going?
As far as what?
As far as whether they're successful and that sort of thing.
Oh, well, some of them are 100% intact and operate perfectly. The other ones are being taken apart. I was involved mainly in propulsion and the power source.
Where did we get these saucers? How did they come into the hands of the government?
I haven't the slightest idea, and you have to understand the information is very compartmentalized. And
We shot 'em down.
I was only allowed information that pertains.
Yeah, I think we
particularly
were
to what I was
using
involved in.
sonic
Couldn't
weapons
our
and
government have made them as opposed to
caused
giving
them to
some
lose their
alien beings?
vibrations
Totally
that they were
impossible.
using
Yeah,
to
something like that.
propel them.
but we shot him down.
System is a gravity propulsion system. The
Most
power
definitely.
source is an antimatter reactor. This technology does not exist at all. In fact, one of the reasons that I'm going forward with this information, it's not only a crime against the American people, it's a crime against the scientific community, which I've been part of for some time, or actively trying to duplicate these systems, yet they are in existence now and basically in the hands of the government.
What would happen to you if the government learned that you were giving us this information?
Sleep with the fishes.
I don't know. I haven't the slightest idea.
But you said you referred to getting into trouble. Have you had some repercussions already?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I've been threatened with being charged with espionage. I've had my life threatened by them, my wife's life threatened by them, and I mean, I don't know where else you could go from there.
That's that smile and wave, boys. Smile and wave.
Smile and wave.
Didn't see anything.
Now, first we go to Dan Rather in Beijing for a look ahead at the CBS.
That's that tactic. You know that one.
From China. We'll have extensive coverage of
God, it's such a trippy sound in my ears.
Dentist drew international attention. Portions were broadcast by radio in 6 European countries and in a nationally televised TV special in Japan. Despite numerous inquiries and feelers, Dennis has remained anonymous until now. His real name is Robert Lazar. He says he was hired to work at an area called S4, which is a few miles south of Groom Lake. And
Sector
S4, he says,
4.
are flying saucers, antimatter
Sector
reactors,
4,
and other working examples
it's
of technology
Transformers, huh?
that is seemingly beyond
Megatron
human
and
capabilities.
Megatron and the
Now,
Offspring.
News 8.
Well, I'll be damned. I'm gonna
Good
braid
evening, everyone.
my.
You're in the right place at the right time.
Yeah, we
Blasting
are.
out of the Mojave Desert like a Scirocco, blazing across
We're
the
gonna
land.
crack your mind wide open, and you're gonna learn the truth.
Yeah.
Like a supercharged
You guys like Gundams? Wait till you see
Greetings
this.
to all of you from the boldest, bawdiest, most outrageous city in the world, planetary capital of sun, fun, sin, sex, and secrets, my not so humble hometown, Las Vegas, Nevada. You know, there are a lot of people, myself included, who would like to focus on big picture stuff. Who are these visitors? Why are they here? What is the nature of reality? What is their interest in us? Where do they come from? Now, those are the questions that people have been asking about the UFO mystery since the beginning. We're no closer to answering any of them. But Bob got pretty close. Bob got to read these briefing documents that provided those kind of answers. The thing is, when we were covering his story, so much of the effort was in proving that he really was the person he said he was. Is it true? Is it plausible? That really, that was the focus, more than the really important stuff. You have to cover the story of Bob Lazar, and the only way to do that is to talk to Bob. And I don't know if he'll talk to you or not, but you need to try. It's all going to be circumstance for you, is the moment that you approach him, the mood that he's in, what else is going on in his life at the time. You might hit the jackpot and get him at exactly the right time, and the universe is aligned, and he's willing to talk about it. But you have to be off. Because in general, Bob doesn't like to talk about it. I think he's very happy in his life. He's happy to have left the UFO stuff behind. He misses his friends. He misses John Lear. He misses Gene Huff, maybe even me to some extent. But he doesn't miss the UFO topic, and he doesn't miss talking about it, because ultimately it's disturbing. These are disturbing issues. They go to the heart of who we are as people, as human beings, the nature of reality itself. Is this a computer simulation? Are we all the product of an alien video game?
Yeah.
Or some multi-dimensional drive-in movie theater production or something?
Dun, dun,
Big
dun.
questions, disturbing answers. And Bob has never been comfortable in talking about
I always felt like a California raisin myself.
Looking for something new to do? Deliver with
No,
DoorDash.
we're not looking for.
Keep your own hours.
Dude, I'm
No, what
sorry.
damn wait.
No, I've been waiting to see this forever. My
Me
buddy,
too.
dude, my buddy, we're all about this shit. I'm all about this shit, man. This is what I
Okay.
know.
I really didn't know how you guys would take this, but
Oh no, brother,
I-
this is a home run. You nailed it.
I'm up fucking deep end of the rabbit hole with all of this.
Yep.
So
this is all real. This is shit that I understand. I understand. Bob Lazar is my hero, dude. Him and Dr. Greer, dude. There's so many amazing
Stephen
people.
Greer.
Yep, and then Tyson DeGrassi.
Oh yeah, I like Tyson DeGrassi.
Yeah, those guys are amazing, dude. This shit's real. Did I take your seat, baby cakes? Here. Aw.
Hey, what are we talking about anyway? We'll go through.
Yeah.
My name's Bob Lazar. I'm known for working at a classified base known as S4 out in the Nevada desert near Area 51. And there, we reverse engineered alien spacecraft. And it's changed my life a lot. You know, it's probably changed every aspect of it. Positive or negative? Well, for the most part, negative. I mean, it's really difficult to find positive aspects of that. I mean, I'm sure there are some here and there, but most of them were negative.
They're controlled. That's why.
Would you take it all back and just be Bob the jet car guy and never have done this if you can, or are you glad you had the experience?
Yeah, that's hard to say. I don't know. I think I'd lean towards not, at this point in my life, I'd probably lean towards not saying anything.
You know, what would be your message to a young person now about looking at your story and thinking about the world? What would you say to them?
Just pay attention.
Yep.
Just pay attention. I can't really say much else. The world's a lot different now. The way information is disseminated and the way things are passed around, it's distorted even faster and more now than it used to be. So they've got a rough road ahead trying to cut through the bullshit.
Yep.
What do you want them to know?
That in the late 1980s, the U.S. government had recovered alien spacecraft, several of them, and the technology in the Nevada desert that they were keeping quiet and analyzing. That's a fact. They don't make my
Jack.
story, but that's all my story.
Kind of remind you we're still here, right, guys?
Just one of the people.
Yep. Take it to the bank, dude. I'm invested in this, brother.
Take it to the bank. Take it to the bank. Bob not putting out no stank.
No doubt. That's the real deal. That's the real deal. Holyfield.
Instead of holding back on anything, and then you can edit it later on. Well, take it from the top then. Okay. Well, go ahead.
How you got involved with this work?
I had sent resumes to several national labs. I got a response from a couple of them. I went in for an interview. They had a job in mind. And then they continued questioning me mainly on my interests outside of work. They seemed to be really concerned about that.
About things like jet cars.
Right. What do you do in your spare time? You say you work on little projects. I said, yeah, I have a particle accelerator in my master bedroom and things of that sort. And some time went by and they called me back in. They said there was a senior staff physicist that was leaving this organization, and they basically interviewed me for that job. I was given a lot of briefings to read on, I believe there were 121 different briefings, and they just sat me in a room, and they had while they were going and updating my clearance to a level that they call majestic.
You start reading these reports, you see some of them deal with flying saucers. What's your reaction?
MJ12 people. MJ12.
Yeah, MJ12. I heard it too. Keywords, everybody. Know your keywords.
Yep, keywords. Majestic 12.
It's a science dream, really.
I think Elon Musk is going to be a new one.
One close-up, one up.
Oh, he's already a member of the MJ12.
Oh, well, yeah, something like that. But yeah.
Reactors out of the crafts, which was an antimatter reactor. I was given a demonstration on how it worked, things that it did, and the physics of it. The thing they were most interested in is duplicating the reactors without using this element 115 which is, of course, impossible. They were trying to, and there have been projects before that, just trying to use a normal nuclear generator, fuel with plutonium, and really
that's garbage. That's garbage energy. Never use never nuclear. It's already proven destructive in history. Ancient civilizations have been destroyed by nuclear holocaust.
Yeah, there's some remains of some nuclear activity in Africa.
Yep. Remember the Baghdad battery, people? There was nuclear reactors and stuff that were built in ancient times, and that's what they say that could have possibly destroyed Atlantis, kind of deal. That kind of high technology that was unharnessable, and when you fuck it up, it is catastrophic. Chernobyl.
Oh, hold on.
CarHop has great used cars with low down payments.
But yeah, it's catastrophic. Nuclear energy is filthy, and if something wrong happens, it contaminates everything.
Hey, George.
Hey, man.
It is
What's up, man?
not
How you doing?
good.
All right, what's going on?
This is now 30 years since you initially broke the story of Bob Lazar. So, I mean, the amount of information is overwhelming. And I just want to go over with you some of the details of the case.
Sure.
We're talking about UFOs, alien craft, back engineering, and there's Lazar saying he did all that. And from what I understand, it spread everywhere.
Yeah, you know, we had the first interview in May of 1989 with him as Dennis, who's not his real identity, not revealed to the audience.
I was 2.
And even that,
I was 2 years old when he first came out.
That sparked a great deal of interest among the public. I spent the 8 months between May and November trying to verify Bob's background to see if we could solidify the case, to see if we could find out if he was telling the truth. And then the plan was to unleash it in November, which is what we did. It was the highest rated news series we've ever done. It was the highest rated news special that ever aired in Las Vegas. And then it really exploded. It went all over the world. Bootleg copies of the tapes were being sold and shown in movie theaters. You had media interest from all over the world, and I think a lot of it was skeptical at the beginning, which of course it would be. But in the end, every major news organization in the world beat a path to Area 51's door, and tens of thousands of people started showing up out there to see whatever it was that was flying around in the desert. They're still coming all these years later. And I know a lot of my media colleagues have had problems with that story, but they have all covered it, all of them. You put Area 51 on the map. It's now known all over the world. Even though Lazar worked at S4, Area 51 is the term that the public knows. So it was huge. It was huge then. It's huge now.
Now I'm watching on my TV, and I'm working out.
They seem to ride on a viscous material, channeled through empty space by heat that rises and separates. It vitrifies everything it contacts, like a green glass of honey. The goddamn psychedelic liquid drowning the emptiness of imagination. This desert is pocked and punctuated by 1,000 gaping holes, created in 1,000 atomic blasts that define an era. What are they building in the desert north of Las Vegas? What are they hiding? Fuck are they hiding?
All right, you guys, I'm gonna have to sign off. So I'll talk to you guys later.
All right, brother, take it easy.
Thanks for hanging out.
Talk to you later.
All right, you all have a good night.
Yep.
All right, later.
All right, bye.
What is your name, and what's your relationship to Bob Lazar? My name is Mario Santa Cruz, and I met Bob actually in my neighborhood. He lived like one block over. My attraction to Bob was his jet dragster. So I saw this jet dragster sitting out in front of his house in our neighborhood, which was just the jet dragster alone was rare. But in my neighborhood, to see something like that was unbelievable. People were harassing Bob, threatening him, and you were with him in one of those experiences, at least one. A couple of times, actually. I actually had a weapon with me, you know, when we rode together, because
Danger
he had
Man.
been shot at, you know. What was the weapon? Was it the Uzi? Yes. Yeah. so when
I don't know why I'm being so careful. I'm used to being that way when it comes to talking about Bob. Being careful what I say, you know what I mean? So it's kind of a force of habit to kind of just walk on eggshells a little bit. He just wanted to stay alive.
I don't condone holding the barrel of the Uzi.
His life was in chaos. How he pulled out of it, you know, he dug deep. It's a pretty incredible story.
He who has the money has the authority. Respect to the man with the Uzi.
Tire shot out on my car as I was getting on the freeway.
Boom.
Is this a secret?
Obviously. But in fact, the only reason that getting this on tape is insurance.
You tell him, Bobby.
Well, that's one reason. But I mean, also, as an American citizen, you're bothered by that this stuff is going on.
That looks so fake.
I am, but not enough to have, stood here and have it on the record. Insurance is the true motivation behind it.
Yeah, so this interview, he was trying to ensure that he didn't get Men in Blacked.
That's me holding him. Very proud mom holding him. We have a beautiful little place in Florida. One Sunday morning, must have been about 6 o'clock in the morning, everyone is sleeping with this huge bang. Bob had put a jet engine in the bike. At 6 in the morning, he decided to take it out for a trip.
What did you guys think? Mom, Dad, I'm building.
Scared out of my mind. I didn't know what he was going to do next. Was he going to blow up the house, blow up the world? I don't know.
It's out there, you know?
He's out there.
That's why he's my hero, dude. He's still out there.
Maybe it would cause problems. Maybe it would blow shit up.
It more than likely it would. So he's best off keeping things on the low, down low, really.
But at the same time, he has said there is a way he could prove his story.
I want him to be happy. If vindication is what he wants, fine. But that's up to him. You believe him or not? It's a fearful thing to think that there's something out there that we don't know anything about. Are they dangerous? Can they hurt us? Will they attack us? You don't want to know, so...
I was just watching a documentary on a creature called the Orient
There might be
Pendad.
other things out there, other things
Talking about things being
there
out
has to
there.
be. We can't be all by ourselves.
It's like a miniature Sasquatch.
Oh, wow.
Instead of being 9-10 feet tall, it's like 3-4 feet tall.
Wow. Damn.
Yeah. And it inhabits islands more than anything else.
Really?
Yeah. Seems to be the root of the cause.
My name is Joy, and I am Bob's wife. We've been together, it'll be 17 years.
What is it that you think is most misunderstood?
That he really is an honest guy. You know, he doesn't make stuff up.
I guess it's just so big. So the easier thing to do is to point the finger and say liar.
Yeah, that's so sad. That's really sad. That they don't know real Bob.
There's particular moments that define each one of us. We may not know it at the time, but we learn it later. Every action creates a cascade of reactions. Life is a web of events. Actions overlaid by consequence. Woven across the fabric of time. Future determined by past. Past defined by present. Present experienced throughout the lens of personal history. But for some, it's obvious. You can put your finger on it. That definable, indelible moment.
Yeah, I put my finger on a lot of things.
Everything changed.
I love my job. There's a lot of craftsmanship in the stuff that I do. I really like working with my hands. It's a really unique job. I don't think there's any other job where you get to do this kind of stuff every day. We'll either get a really interesting order coming in, or Bob will get bored and try to come up with a new product, and that's when it gets really fun. So there's another one that he wants to do, like recreate a grand atomic chemistry set, something of that sort. And I think that would be really cool if he ever decides to really hone in on that.
This is the Atomic Energy Lab kit. It's something from the 1950s, a toy, like a chemistry set you get for your kid. It was made by Gilbert.
Chemistry is today a fascinating adventure for youth of all ages.
Awesome shit. Yeah, buddy.
Gilbert has made this exciting science available in safe and easy-to-understand form. Made as completely safe as human ingenuity can devise.
This actually came with radioactive material. You could really conduct atomic energy experiments in it. It was fascinating. And it was billed as the most dangerous toy ever made, and still, in some respects, is still considered that way today. But the thing is, it wasn't. It was just people's fear.
And just a heads up for anybody, that sound that you hear going, it's of a really high frequency, and it's meant to open your crown chakra so that you will be willing to listen to this. And there's probably some medium hertz in there to open your heart to the understanding of this information.
For them to just make shit up about you and to dehumanize you. How simple that is to do. The fact that somebody would say you're not a scientist.
I mean, all I've ever done is science-related stuff my entire life. So, I don't know. I guess the point is, do I really care what people I don't know think? And probably to some extent I do. But I don't dwell on it.
Right.
I guess it is easier to discredit someone that you have no information on, because you can just say anything about them, and there's nothing to refute it.
Jerks.
Trying to feel privileged I got to work in.
Haters gonna hate.
So, in some respects, I shouldn't be allowed to complain. I've given the example of transporting a small modern-day portable nuclear reactor back into Victorian times, and giving it to the scientists there. Well, back in that time, they didn't even know about radiation, so they'd see a machine making power, kind of like what we're doing, and marvel at it. Wow, it's producing a lot of power. There's no smokestack, there's no coal, there's no fuel. How is this thing working? They start taking it apart. Well, they'll all die as soon as they get close to the core. People that come in to check on them will all die, and no one knows. Nothing touched them, so they're going to think it's haunted or something. There's some evil forces or something in there. But I mean, who says that can't happen to us? The first time Barry showed me the reactor in operation, here it is on the bench, and he said, try and touch the sphere on top. And you couldn't, your hand was pushed away. Just like, two light poles of a magnet. It's the exact same feeling, but there's no metal involved. And that's shocking. That's really shocking, because nothing does that. That's an operating, powerful force field. So just seeing something like that immediately starts that whole chain reaction in your mind going, wow, wait, if you could do this, there can be force fields in tanks. There can be things that lift off the ground. We don't need jet and rocket engines. Wait, there's no use for cars. I mean, boom, the whole thing changes the entire world, the economy, everything would go end on end just if we had an answer to how that machine worked that I was sitting there touching.
The potential for us to re-understand human...
I had to go grab some fuel.
Is
right.
Go ahead. Oh, yeah.
There's life somewhere else.
V8, I drink it. They don't pay me.
It's an important part of human history that we found that out. It was awesome, but fearsome at the same time. It was being completely fucking scared all day long. It's not exactly the most fun job when you're there. Almost 3 decades later, the fear drops off, and you're just left with the amazement and technology that you were exposed to. We have, an artifact here from another civilization. It really changed the way a lot of people think. We're all looking for an answer. Having physical proof is an awful big deal.
I think what a lot of people find really compelling about Bob, he legitimately appears sometimes just perplexed by what he saw. Have you noticed that kind of about him?
Yeah, he was aware that this was weird. He was aware it was weird that they hired him. I mean, he's a smart guy and he thinks outside the box. So in a lot of ways, he might have been just exactly what they needed for a program that seemed to be stalled. But he knew that he wasn't their kind of a guy, that they could have had their pick of any scientists in the world, presumably, to work on this. So it was strange, and it was strange that they started showing him these briefing books with this incredibly sensitive information right off the bat. As soon as he gets there, they start showing him this stuff with alien bodies broken down so you can see their organs and the history of human-alien interaction and all kinds of things that the UFO community had suspected, but no one could prove, and he just thought it was weird that anyone would show him this stuff. He wondered what the heck was going on. I think he was thrilled. Part of him was really thrilled to be there and thrilled to see it, even if it turned out to be some kind of a ruse. But he knew that something was not quite right about the whole thing, or suspected that anyway.
Hi, my name is Alina, and I would like you to give you a few reasons why you should consider dating a young Slavic lady. You can choose a potential spouse from Ukraine, Russia.
That's so tempting because that's so true because those women are gorgeous.
1989 that there was some sort of hand scan.
Mail order wives, no. That's horrible.
That is because it's not even real. Like I don't need to have a supermodel. I have a beautiful wife. I don't need anybody else, dude.
There's a bright light above it.
Oh
the interesting
Lord.
thing is when you walk into the facility or even to leave, they have a hand reader. I was told that it has to do something where it measures the bright light measures the bones in your finger. They're unique to each person. It sounds like something out of a TV show, but it's exactly.
I mean, there's going to be people out there that answer that commercial, but it's not going to be
over
me.
the internet, never found anything. And then
I'm preoccupied.
all of a sudden, this article comes out, and it says that at the Nellis Range they were talking about the stealth program. There was indeed this hand scanner that was used in these secret programs, and they just admitted or announced it publicly. And there were some photos, and I just was interested. And so
I never thought I'd see one of these again. But I tried to explain this to people so many times, and they either didn't believe me or say, yeah, I'm sure there is. And there it is. There it is.
It's like a biometric thing for the hands. Yeah?
The beginnings of, it wasn't all that advanced back then, but that's it.
Huh.
I can't believe you found a picture of this. I really can't. This was the scanner used to get in to S4. And I tried to explain this to people so many times that there was pins in, you stuck your hand, a light above, and it supposedly measured the length of the bones in your hand that, is unique in each individual. It's exactly how it was. Yeah, that's amazing. It's amazing you came up with these. It's amazing to see this again. Back then, this was the hot thing.
He uses that computer to operate that telescope.
Become public, and there's this tiny bit of vindication.
It is. There's little moments of vindication, little pieces here and there that, little I told you so's, pop up every couple of years.
It's weird.
But this is a big one.
He's still living near Nevada,
So a lot of
and he's still got a scope up into the sky.
Yeah.
Fanciful thing.
I mean, it's not weird bad. It's weird like he knows way too much.
But that's why we need to know what he knows. It's important.
Right.
Because all that shit really matters to us. It really does.
And then there's this.
I've flown a couple airplanes with a couple of those in it.
Whoa. I mean, that's pretty cool.
It is. Dude, they're just little jet engines. Yeah. It's rocket science. It's really cool. But that's what that's for. It's for a really large one. They make smaller ones, but that's for a really large.
A security matter. Some of it, sure.
A really large one.
Yeah, did you
We even have articles.
Oh, I was gonna ask you a question. I can't remember. So
Checking out Lazar's credentials proved to be a difficult task. He says he earned degrees in physics and electronics, but the schools we contacted say they've never heard of him. He also said he worked as a physicist at Los Alamos National Lab, where he experimented with one of the world's largest particle beam accelerators, a half-mile-long behemoth capable of generating 700 billion volts. Los Alamos officials told us they had no records of a Robert Lazar ever working there. They were either mistaken or were lying. A 1982 phone book from the lab lists Lazar right there among the other scientists and technicians. A 1982 clipping from the Los Alamos newspaper profiled Lazar and his interest in jet cars. It, too, mentioned his employment at the lab as a physicist. We called Los Alamos again. An exasperated official told us he still had no records on Lazar. EG&G, which is where Lazar says he was interviewed for the job at S4, also has no records. It's as if someone has made him disappear.
One thing that people say about your story and your experience is that you were a puppet, a marionette, that you had no control over what was going on at that time, that you were taken advantage, you were compromised, and you're being used as a source of disinformation.
And what evidence to support that?
Right.
And what's the evidence to support those claims? Is that just something to say?
No, I'm just saying that's the kind of.
If you make a statement, you have to have some evidence to say where the statement came from. If you're basing it on emotion,
right,
and fear, and you're afraid that I'm right. Tell me what you've heard that makes this impossible. I'm trying to tell you exactly the way things were. Where is it? Show me the alternate reality that you believe that doesn't lock up with my actual reality. I mean, where are those other facts? Just show me what they are. These facts you grabbed together and painted a different story of my life than I did. I mean, I thought I set the record straight 30 years ago.
Yeah, 30 years.
Right.
If our life story is challenging,
30 years ago.
Most of us are not forced to answer for our past. We can really navigate this moment with reverence for what came before.
Hold the imagery.
Placed under a microscope. Their words, their actions, scrutinized and challenged. And then they're told to quiet lies. How much can a man take before he submits to the weight and consequence of distrust? Does he fade back into the shadows that formed him? Or does he lash out to carve his words into your flesh? Carve his words into your flesh.
I don't know, what else can I say? What else can I say? How can I prove anything else?
At the worst case scenario, you lied for a girl or you lied to get a job. What does that mean about your story?
Do you think Los Alamos just hired me out of high school? If you don't think that's possible, then something had to happen in between.
That filthy, stinky dork. Oh, how can a scumbag like Alex study at the...
If you don't think that's possible, then something had to happen in between. I don't understand how everybody gets so caught up in the minutia. Because you can debate that stuff forever. We can go back before MIT, and you can start fighting whether or not and where I lived in high school. That is not going to translate into answering the questions and the things that I've brought into the public eye. That's the important stuff. It almost seems like this is an intentional distraction. You need to pay attention to the bigger picture. If you really want to research all the other stuff, fine, go ahead and do it. But you really need to pay attention to what I'm saying. because I have better things to do than come up with this. I'm not interested in doing this. I don't like being in the public eye. I don't have money for doing this. And quite frankly, I could make up a better lie, but I have no motivation to lie. This hasn't helped me out.
What does that mean for Lazar's story that we can't prove his schooling? In fact,
it was a problem. I mean, I wondered, can we go forward if we can't verify what was going on in his background? The central point for me was, if he worked at Los Alamos, that suggests he had to have an education somewhere. I think he said it to me a couple of times. What do you think? They hired me right out of high school. I looked at people who knew him back then. Jim Taliani, for one, who said that, yeah, Bob went to Caltech back then. I dropped him off. I interviewed another person who also knew Bob then and said that he would drop him off and Caltech would pick him up from the library, that if he wasn't going to school there, he sure was making a good show of it back then. Would it prove his story about working on flying saucers if he could show he had degrees from Caltech and MIT? No, of course not. It would not prove that he worked on flying saucers. It would just prove that he went to school. The people who despise him and who doubt the story the most, the debunkers, would find something else to bitch about. Bob got into some trouble after he became a worldwide UFO celebrity. He did a typical Bob sort of a thing and got mixed up with some hookers. He was helping them set up a little mini brothel in a neighborhood. And when he told me about it, I thought, oh my gosh, my professional life is flashing before my eyes here. The most high-profile witness and the biggest story I've ever done is now telling me he's involved in this criminal enterprise. He kind of thought it was funny. But it wasn't funny to me, so I said, you got to stop this stuff. You got to shut this down. I called the cops. I let some people know, look, he made a mistake. It's being shut down. They raided the place, arrested Bob. And in those days, there weren't many people who were ever prosecuted and arrested for pandering. Lazar was. So, parole and probation, they're doing a background investigation, and they're going to make a recommendation to the court what the sentence should be for his crimes. He tells them the same story, where he went to school, where he worked, S4, MIT, Caltech, all that. And they investigated. They were having the same problems that I was having. They couldn't verify a lot of this stuff. If Bob truly was a UFO con man, that was the time to come clean, because parole and probation was ticked off. They thought he was misleading them, and as a result of that, they did recommend that he do hard time, go to prison. He knew it. That was the time for him to come clean, because it was a much better chance that he would not be sent to prison. He didn't. He stuck to his story. He told them the same story that he told me. That went a long way for me in showing that he had been telling the truth, because it was definitely in his own self-interest to fess up at that point, and that's not what he did. He stuck to his guns. Here's the thing. Okay, I can see Bob Lazar pranks the UFO world and the UFO community. I can see him doing something like that. But does he lie to his mom and dad? Does he lie to his wife? Does he lie to all of his close friends and tell them the same story and try to get away with it? You look back on the people who knew him while this was going on, who knew him before he was hired to work out at S4, who knew him during the time he was going back and forth out there, and who stuck by him after this whirlwind of international publicity kind of rained down on his head.
Yeah.
Everyone who knew him, everyone who was close to him, supports his story and says he's telling the truth.
You saw something up there that you think might have been. I really hate to say stuff that I can't put my hands on and say this is absolutely for sure.
Okay. What did you say?
I walked down the hallway at one time I was working out there, and there were doors. The doors that go to the hangars, the smaller doors from the corridors, have a 9-inch or 12-inch square window with little wires running through it, just about head level. And as I was walking by, I just glanced in and I noticed, at a quick glance, there were two guys in white lab coats facing me towards the door, and they were looking down and talking to something small with long arms. Now, I was just surprised as I walked by and I only caught a glance, but I don't know what on earth that was.
We never have to worry about a product
what was it?
to where it has to make it to, or the condition
Oh, dude, there's so many species of alien. I can't even tell you.
You effers.
You know, it's like there's so many.
You know, we're splitting the hairs here. This had to do with a glance through a window that I wasn't supposed to be looking at anyway. And I'm still convinced. I looked in the window, and I think these guys had a doll in a small chair, which was, you know, similar to what was in the craft. And I think they were just looking at dimensions, and they put something in there. And I just took a glance, and it was just, you know, something tiny sitting in the chair. I don't think there was an alien there posing for them. You know, I think they just had a small character or something, you know, doing measurements or something. Again, we're talking about, you know, like a 400 millisecond glance. So now how much can you see out of that? I never saw any aliens walking around there. I never heard anybody saying anything about living aliens. So I don't think that was it.
But they did have a nickname for the aliens.
The kids. The kids.
Just so everybody knows, if you want, you can go into the description of our live podcast here, and you can get the direct links to this video. All the citation for this video is in our description for this show.
We're like livestock.
I definitely suggest checking that stuff out. Go chase the rabbit hole. You'll see some amazing footage. The truth is out there.
Yep.
And they can't hide it. They can't hide it anymore.
I got some crazy stories. One time, I was taking footage of a lightning storm above an old military base, and my camera caught a little white light shooting out from the base. Oh, well, I was supposed to be looking for lightning, right? But this is what my camera caught. Well, anyways, when I went to go replay it, I replayed it, and I was able to watch the replay one time, and then it fried my camera. I still own the camera. I still have the camera sitting right here
that doesn't exist yet.
above where I build my gunpla and stuff.
Science doesn't even know what gravity is, much less how to produce it or control it. And here is a device that's producing it and controlling it.
Yeah, how does science control it, produce it?
You're telling me there's a different physics. That was your job. You were working on that.
The science was something we were trying to figure out, but we knew how the devices would operate. You know, for instance, the propulsion of the craft. Everything that we have, whether it's a propeller plane or a jet or a rocket, it throws something out the back, either high-speed exhaust or a large volume of air. It's an action-reaction force. The action is you throw something out the back, and it moves you forward. That's how everything works. This is the first time there's a craft it's a reactionless craft. It's a field propulsion craft. And what it does is it creates a distortion in space and time in front of it, where space actually bends. And my analogy to that has always been, put a bowling ball in the middle of your bed, and then a foot in front of it, take your fist and push down on the mattress. Bowling ball will roll towards it. And that's exactly how the craft works. It creates a distortion right in front of it, and the craft falls forward.
So there's a different physics that we're not...
Well, the science that explains how the technology works. I mean, it's all encompassed as one thing, alien technology and science.
What is the big picture? What is the takeaway of your story after you're gone? You're not a rebel kid with a jet car at Los Alamos today. Today's a different Bob Lazar, right?
Right. What
have we learned? What's the message of your story?
The big thing is the suppression of extremely advanced technology and the suppression of unknown science. That's it. Those two things, to me, is the only thing that's important about what was going on out there. Yeah, there's another civilization, and like I've said before, that's a crime not to tell humanity about that, but that's a separate thing.
Meaning that there is something different in science dramatically that we're not allowed to know.
Right. Right.
That is a true statement.
Yeah, that's a true statement.
Coordinate work across
No.
teams with Asana. Try it for free.
All right, commercial time.
Metallica.
The fact that there is another intelligent, technologically advanced civilization, we have some of their objects.
That is really the pinnacle. That there's another civilization in existence that's intelligent that we know about. And we actually have artifacts from them that can operate. So, I mean, that's a big, big deal. But in my mind, there's a lot to deal with that. However, the science
nobody
and
else is picking up on what he's putting down. Did you hear what he said?
Dramatically.
This man said
Can change
he
the way the
had
entire world
stuff
operates, the economy,
from
everything.
other fuckers.
So
like we're
those
fuckers
stick
and
out
they're
in my mind
fuckers.
as being
And we got stuff
critically
from
important.
other fuckers.
Yep. I said back that up like 30 seconds. Let everybody hear that again.
You don't have to
Right?
That's worth it.
That is really the pinnacle.
Meaning that there is something different in science dramatically that we're not allowed to know.
Right? Right.
That is a true statement.
Yeah, that's a true statement.
This is it.
The fact that there is another intelligent, technologically advanced civilization, we have some of their objects.
That is really the pinnacle. That there's another civilization in existence that's intelligent that we know about. And we actually have artifacts from them that can operate. So, I mean, that's a big, big deal. But in my mind, there's a lot to deal with that.
Heavy.
However, the science
That's a
and the technology
huge
can change
piece of
us
luggage to unpack.
dramatically. It can change the way the entire world operates, the economy, everything.
Yes. We need this,
Yep.
people.
So those stick out in my mind as being critically important.
And we have it.
Oh, we have them. You don't have to believe it, but we do.
And you've seen it.
I've seen it.
And you've touched it.
I've dismantled it.
Yep.
That right there
Just for a
is
little
the
while,
magic.
it begins to settle in your mind. These are
I've dismantled it.
there on the chart. This flies
Well,
and this is how gravity works.
bringing that into
Just
the
like
plane of everything, did you know that the military, the U.S. military, just released a new bomber?
The most shocking thing was when I actually got to look inside the disc.
The U.S. military released a new bomber.
Panel associated with them.
Oh yeah.
Very small. They were
The
perhaps that
B-21
far off the
Raider.
ground, like something small. Now if we had made something like that, we would have made it to
That
fit
thing
children.
looked fucking deadly.
It just led me to believe
But
with
it
the
looked
size
like
of
it
the
flew
alien
on
cadavers
something
I
else.
saw, the size of the seats inside.
Getting into what this guy's got going on.
Memory is a mirage and mistress to desire.
Ooh.
Shape-shifting and ethereal, she's inherently elusive and malleable. We acknowledge her if it suits our fantasy in the moment. We fear her because she is unpredictable. Can we trust her on memories? What if we can? Can we return to the scene of the crime to extract hidden details and to see more clearly what we thought we saw?
I was told the rhythmic shouting and the constant threats, that's a form of hypnosis. When did this happen? Oh, this happened almost immediately. They started yelling and screaming at you? Yeah. Oh, fun place to work. Well, no, like I said, it was a terrible atmosphere to work in. But when you weigh that with what you're going to be around, and you basically go through anything. Yell at me, go ahead. When can we get back to the flying saucers? So
You did hypnosis to try to recall details from your employment and from the physics of what you learned. Is that correct?
Yeah, that's correct, with Lane Keck.
Okay. And did you recall anything?
Yeah, I did. I mean, specifics, things you might have missed. I basically wanted to try everything I could to prove what I was saying. So this is just another tool.
You were familiar that hypnosis can work?
Yeah.
To recall?
Yeah, and I had it done to me before, so I had proven that, yeah, this really does do something. Let's try and remember some fine details, or...
You wanted to recall some physics that you learned there.
Yeah, I wanted to recall as much as I possibly could. I mean, so much went through my mind. Just imagine all the things you were seeing. And every one is completely fascinating and something you haven't seen before. It's just data overload. So I was hoping that hypnosis would get me relaxed enough where maybe everything was packed so tight together, maybe I could just start thumbing through things and just pick up even a couple little more tidbits could paint a bigger picture. I could, possibly explain things better, or, possibly locate some of these other guys, or anything, any bit of information. So, yeah, and it was pretty handy.
So you did recall some things technically?
Yeah, technical things, and probably others, too.
More and more hypnosis is accepted. However, there's still a lot of misconceptions about it. Like what? Oh, they think that you go into a trance and the hypnotist does something and you don't remember it, all of a sudden your life changes. And that's not the case at all. There's no mind control happening.
Get in the car, Mr. Ambrose.
Mind control?
Graduation isn't...
And that's not the case at all. There's no mind control happening.
Right.
Take a nice deep breath. Close your eyes and just think relaxation. Now just think about your head and relax your head.
Now what I want you to do is to get as comfortable as you possibly can. And just relax completely.
Now double your relaxation and the number 100 will be there. 100. Double your relaxation and the number 99 will come right on in. Bob, from this moment on, you will recall and remember the material that you seek, and no one or nothing, past, present, or future, will stand in your way. Bob, you will remember because you desire to remember, to remember.
Fuck yeah. Get that shit, Bob.
At one point, he was in hypnosis. I think it was drawing a reactor. He was trying to recall what was in the books. He saw it in the book. And then I told him, well, you'll come up and open your eyes and you'll be able to draw. And he did, but it didn't mean anything to him. But it was a drawing that he drew this way. Oh, no way. But it was this way. And so afterwards, he looked at it, and he came back over and sat down here for a while. And, that's because all he had to do is turn it. So that's the superconscious and literal. The subconscious takes things literal.
Right, it's like the mind is absorbing all this stuff, and then he discovers what his mind had absorbed. He's remembering.
Yeah. I was writing so fast.
I can't imagine what you were thinking, too, because you're discovering with them that kind of shock. What's the truth?
Hypnosis is the best possible tool of getting to the truth. If a person makes things up normally, they can lie under hypnosis just as easily as out of hypnosis. But if they're really trying to get to and retrieve information, then it's the best tool that I know of. He came in to find out what he didn't know. We were able to go back, overcome the fear, and bring forth those memories.
According to Lazar, his employer was the United States Navy. He says he and other government employees would gather near EG&G, fly to Groom Lake, and then a very few people would get into a bus with blacked out or no windows and drive to S4.
When you get off the bus, what do you see? Very interesting building. It's got a slope of probably about 30 degrees, which are hangar doors. And it has textured paint on it, but it looks like sand. It's made to look like the side of the mountain that it's in, whether it's to disguise it from satellite photographs or what.
He says he was never told exactly what he'd be working on, but figured it had something to do with advanced propulsion. On his first day, he was told to read a series of briefings and immediately realized how advanced the propulsion was.
The power source is an antimatter reactor. They run gravity amplifiers. There's actually two parts to the drive mechanism. It's a bizarre technology. There's no physical hookup between any of the systems in there. They use gravity as a wave, using waveguides, almost like microwaves.
Polygrapher Terry Tavernetti runs a corporate security operation and is a former Los Angeles police officer. He put Lazar through 4 tests and concluded there was no attempt to deceive.
And I left there thinking that I feel we do have some credibility to what the subject had to say. And that's when I went to some of my colleagues.
Tavernetti sent the test results to a third polygrapher who agreed the results appeared truthful.
Commotion.
The practice you are about to learn is almost never described publicly.
No, we're not going to.
Tavernetti sent the test results to a third polygrapher who agreed the results appeared truthful.
Bob has explained to me multiple times he tried everything in his power to prove his story.
I wanted to feel better for myself, so I said, hey, would you be willing to undergo a polygraph test? He did not hesitate. He said yes. 4 different tests on 4 different areas of Bob's claims. And he said afterward, there is no attempt to deceive at all. He's telling what he believes to be the truth. I have asked the question many times over the years, how did Bob Lazar know this stuff if he wasn't there? He knew there was a place called S4. I had called Nellis Air Force Base Public Information Office. They confirmed for me there really was a place called S4. Now, there's no news story prior to Bob Lazar about any place called S4. He knew about it. He also knew that EG&G had arranged to hire personnel, that if you were going to get a job out of Groom Lake, EG&G was the company that you would go through. He knew that there had been investigators at his home for the background check. Remember, the guy's name was an odd name, Mike Thinkpen. Now, how did he know? How did he know that Mike Thinkpen works for a federal agency that does this stuff?
After 30 years, and this guy dodging you, I found Mike Thinkpen. That's
amazing.
I couldn't believe it. He's on the East Coast. I called him. I've talked with him multiple times. You know, he won't go on camera because he doesn't want to kind of put a dark shadow upon the work that he did before. But personally, he conveyed to me that that was his job. That was exactly what he did in Las Vegas in 1989. And in fact, he remembers Bob Lazar.
The most important thing Bob knew is that they were flying something that looks exactly like a flying saucer over Papoose Lake. And they flew on Wednesday nights. And he took people out there 3 weeks in a row and showed it to them. And at least once, maybe twice, they recorded it on video. That's real. How did Bob know that? There have been no stories about test flights of flying saucers at Papoose Lake. And by the way, that's where it was. It wasn't over at Groom Lake. It was over Papoose Lake. We checked out so many details that Bob had told us that turned out to be true. The existence of S4, element 115, really did become an element years later, that Bob had been consulted by the lab which first synthesized man-made element 115. There was a whole long string of things that he knew that checked out.
These milestones along the way, no matter how much we nitpick it apart, no matter how much people don't want to believe it, the evidence that he's telling the truth outweighs the evidence that he's not.
Well, I agree with you. And if I did not believe that, I would not still be working on the story. I would not be publicly defending Bob
Bob Lazar.
What was your function working on this? You were doing what? What was your job?
We were to reverse engineer the power and propulsion system of this craft and see if it can be duplicated with available materials.
So duplicating something like that.
What it is
that would make it so we could possibly travel from like here to Mars within.
As you're seeing, as if you're there at that moment, kind of go back in the past.
It's funny that they're like so close to being able to colonize Mars, and then they're coming out and allowing videos of this surface fighting and such a manner, because it's like, wow,
three large
we're gonna
cylinder
start putting
devices.
pieces together to this shit.
These are on mounts that allow them to
But I
completely
think
swim up to
Mars
180
has
degrees
the
and in 360
element
degree
that keeps
rotation
bringing up.
directly
I
above
think it
each.
exists on Mars.
Small
That might be why there's no water on Mars,
This is on the floor above.
because that element cooked it all off.
And these are the gravity amplifiers themselves.
Because it's a hot
down
element.
from the
Like
top.
they've tried creating it here on Earth. It's very unstable. It burns out real
You have
fast.
the center. In the very center, there is a small reactor. Surrounding this, in three equally spaced areas, are the amplifiers. So this is looking at it sideways. This is looking at it down from the top. And under these amplifiers, underneath, the floor below, are the gravity emitters.
Mm-hmm.
So it's the reactor here powering the gravity amplifiers. Gravity amplifiers output goes into the gravity emitters at the bottom, and the resulting gravity beam or anti-gravity wave can be pretty much put anywhere you want it to. There was another level up here. Now I had access and was permitted to view and look at the operation of this main level with the gravity amplifiers and the level below the gravity emitters. There is a level above which consisted of these two areas that I'm not all that familiar with. I assume these to be some sort of navigational engine. People call these large black rectangular areas on the top portholes. I believe they were some planar sensor array that just took in information from the surrounding area, whether it be patterns of stars or what have you.
Yeah.
And there was their version of a computer or something to make determinations here that takes input from those sensors and then let the craft know how to orient itself and where it was in space. So that's what I assumed to be up there. I don't know for a fact. Again, that was not part of my job, and I was only led to believe that. The center antenna is really an extension of the reactor in the center, and that's a waveguide, which allows the emission of the gravity wave, which forms kind of a heart shape over the whole craft. That's how it creates its distortion. These gravity emitters can be swung all the way up to 180 degrees. And this allows the craft to essentially stand on two of them and hover, while this one swings up and creates a distortion in front of it, allowing the craft to slide forward. So that's how their low power mode, Omicron configuration operate. The Delta configuration uses all three, and unlike science fiction movies where you see flying saucers just flying along like that, they actually fly belly first. The craft flies along, leaves the atmosphere of the planet, it turns its belly to the destination, the three amplifiers focus in on the destination, and that's how it proceeds. So that's basically the operation of it and overall how things were laid out inside the craft.
This is an alien spacecraft.
Right. Obviously.
Oh, he's doing it.
Craziness. Such craziness. We got 22 new members, as of 31 minutes ago, I guess.
That's cool. That's up a couple members from last week. That means that uptick I told you we should see for in the middle of December. It's starting to pick up again. So from here until June, we'll see uptick, which will be good. Be good to promote. Be good to deepen. So, yeah, man. I'm just one of those guys, man. I pay attention to long haul things, and that was one of those things that I was paying attention to. And like I saw Heiko getting stressed about it. I had already knew what was coming. Like, dude, it's about to fall off. Dude, people in the fall time, man, they like to stay outside. It's not hot. It's good temperature.
Right.
But once that snow comes, man, people clamber back inside. Like, nope. Snow says nope. So it's very interesting. Hey, he's wearing a Doctor Who shirt.
This was out of the big journal.
Is that your particle accelerator you had?
Yeah. The guy that promised not to say anything. I won't say anything about the UFOs.
The article is titled
UFO guy in spotlight. Thanks, dude.
Isn't that when, after this came in there, then the fire department, police, the zoning commission, everybody descended on our house?
I wanted to know. Here's lab supplier and controversy.
So originally, the thing was supposed to be about what? What did the guy say? The article.
The hydrogen car, I think.
Well, the raid. It was about the raid. That's why lab supplier and controversy. Oh, okay. Yeah. The raid in New Mexico. And the guy called, he said, hey, I heard about the raid and all that. Can I come and, do that? And then he says, are you Bob Lazar, the guy, Area 51 guy? I said, yeah, but I don't want to get into that. This is something more important. He said, oh, yeah, we don't even mention it. No problem.
Literally, your house was taken over by a SWAT team?
Yeah.
Yes. Don't just send a letter in the mail or call us.
Right.
Have the whole SWAT team fight themselves to our home.
Hidden things are the most seductive. Secrets reach deep into our desire. They titillate and torment us like a ticking clock or a distant alarm with no origin.
Mr. Gray.
Mr. Gray?
They endanger our complacency.
Have you ever seen the Dreamcatcher movie?
Yeah.
Love it.
But that's the nature of faith.
It was okay. I was like, me being Native American, I was really confused because I was like, this really has nothing to do with my fucking culture. I was like, this really has nothing to do with my people.
Hey, Jeremy.
Like, that's how I felt about it. I felt like they were like going, like they were out there with it. I was like, wow.
If you would text me and let me know when is a good time to call you. I don't want you to call me. I just need to run something by you. Okay? Thanks. Bye.
Alright, so the only record of this is going to be on the audio on this one file, and then this video clip. I'm not going to cut it, I'm going to let it run. Understood. Okay. Then what I'm going to do is I'm going to encrypt it, and I'm going to put both of those two files into an encrypted thing to not be touched unless we decide it should be touched.
That's fine.
Okay. It'll be on 2 drives, but those 2 files will both be in an encrypted folder. So here's the deal. Did you ever get a piece of element 115 out of Los Alamos?
How much monitoring they do with me, I'm sure it's virtually none after all this time.
Hold
The
on
same thing.
Hold on a second. Let me, do you have your phone on you?
Yes.
Let's, at this point, take our phone. Let me put them in the ground over there. I'll turn mine off.
I mean, maybe this has been kept from us for a good reason. A lot of people agreed to keep this secret. So, first of all, who am I to upset it? And second of all, who am I to outthink these guys? Maybe they went over all these scenarios already and they know how fucked up everything will be. So, there's no guarantee that this revelation is going to make everything great. there's just as much chance it's going to make everything terrible, and I'll be to blame for that.
Oh, interesting.
They identified themselves as FBI, and they said, "You're Bob Lazar, right?" And then, one of them got on the radio saying, "Yeah, he's here." Apparently, they also had my house staked out, and they were deciding whether or not to go there. The conveyor belt of vehicles and agents and police did not stop. The whole thing was like a Twilight Zone episode. They came in and then they said, "There'll be a few other people coming here. Just got a couple questions to ask you." In a short time, the street filled up with vehicles and the building completely filled with agents. It was really something else.
Did they identify themselves initially as?
Yeah, it was FBI identified themselves. Then came in state police and a few other agencies. I don't remember who, but there were a lot, awful lot. Standing room only in the building. It was crazy.
Yeah, they had like a forensic truck. They had a bunch of different agents. They gridded off the building. I mean, obviously they're looking for something.
Yeah. And what they said, they were looking for some paperwork, an old order from 2 years ago on a customer that, ordered some potentially toxic material, which they could have called for, but this was certainly way over the top. I looked up to select the right key, and they were right beside me. It was quite surprising, considering you could see all around here, and there would generally have to be a vehicle or something. But I just pulled up, got out, picked the key, and then they started talking from behind me. I thought that was really strange. Of course, it got much stranger as the day went on.
What got stranger about it?
Well, just the sheer amount of people that came. Agency after agency. I mean, they had computer experts here going through, all the computer equipment we had here. And they had people sectioning off the building, labeling it in cubic meters so they can search each one. What they were looking for was just an order form. So, very strange.
Look at that attack cat. The guard kitty. He didn't do a very good job, did he?
You've been raided 2 times?
Twice. By more agencies than I can really recall. The FDA, the NRC, the FBI, but they usually come in mass, and it's hard to pick out who's who.
So this is beryllium?
Yeah.
And what is it used for again?
It's used in aerospace. Very lightweight, quite strong, and high temperature metal.
Do you think that you were shaken down? To some degree, you're being fucked with.
I don't think they're just fucking with me. I am convinced there's ulterior motives. I firmly suspect that there's a lot more to it than they're saying, that they're looking for something else.
What they're supposed to do is tie you up, put you in the middle of the room, have everyone watching you so that you can't, collaborate a story or, try to trick them or whatnot. So they just kept us all in separate rooms. There's bomb squad, computer squad. I think they have like a biological hazard squad, hazmat squad. I mean, the full gamut, because they had no idea what we had in our shop or like what we're capable of, or are we going to retaliate or anything like that. So it was pretty much like the full Michigan FBI. I mean, they had the van, they had multiple cars lined up, so.
I mean, in looking at Bob's life, there's always this suspicion that there's something more going on shaking him down, because he had that experience before.
Yeah, so this is the second time that I know of that he's gotten raided. So he's always had like this kind of knowledge that there's somebody watching. No matter what he does, there's always somebody watching you. And it does have to be related to the Area 51 stuff and all that. Kind of put him on the list. I think they do like toying with him and keeping an eye on him. But I don't believe that it's like they're opening up a 30-year-old file and they're like, all right, we're going to crack down on the Bob story. We're going to find out what he has, what information he's got. I don't think that they're necessarily doing that. But I do think that there's like a culture maybe within these agencies of they know who this guy is and they'll have, they'll look for any reason that they can to kind of, poke him with some thorns and make sure that he knows who's watching him. I believe that. It's too coincidental for it all to be just, just some luck of the draw, basically. Like there's something going on.
Everybody knows the story is that you got some element 115 out of Los Alamos. That's public knowledge. Something you said a while back. Do you think that what happened had to do with that?
We're not going there.
Are they trying to shake you down to find the 115 that you said 30 years ago that you got out of the lab? People are going to ask that. Yeah. So let's just address that. If you feel comfortable addressing it.
No.
Do you not feel comfortable addressing it?
No, I don't feel comfortable addressing it. You would think after 30 years, who cares what I have to say?
I'm more convinced than ever that the key to the story is element 115. If you could get to that piece and have it independently analyzed, I think it would prove beyond all question that it came from somewhere else. We didn't make it. And it would go a long way toward establishing the story that was told by Bob Lazar as truth. So I think about that a lot. I think about the cloud chamber experiment. I get a lot of emails from people who say, oh, God, where's this video? You owe it to the world to show this video. Cough it up. And I tell them, look, I've looked for it. I've got all these boxes of crap and stuff and tape and news clippings, and I've looked for it, and I can't find it. But when somebody like you comes and talks to me about the Bob Lazar story, it gets the juices flowing again. I can't help it. I'm human, and right now, I want to go find that tape.
I went through every tape that Bob had in his personal home archive, and one of those tapes on the outside, in tiny, tiny little scribble, said cloud chamber. And lo and behold, there's about just less than a minute of that cloud chamber test on tape. I have it.
People have been so pissed at me over the years I can't find that tape, or they think I'm hiding it on purpose, but I've looked everywhere for it. And if you found it, that's awesome.
I did. Now here's the deal. In typical, Bob Lazar fashion, there's only about a minute of it. However, after all these years, 30 years, we have some footage of it, but it doesn't prove shit because it's recorded.
I was there the night that they did the cloud chamber test. I couldn't tell you what it was. I didn't know what a cloud chamber was. This beam of light was bent, and it was bent because they had element 115 in as part of the experiment. I said, well, that's pretty important. That would be huge to include in the story.
I spent time trying to understand why everybody was saying this 115 being stabilized is pseudoscience. So I called some of the top heavy element physicists on the planet, from Russia to up in San Francisco to Washington, D.C., and I spoke with, about 8 or 9, but 3 in particular who would really talk to me in depth about it. All of them, across the board, said you cannot rule out a stabilized version of element 115. In fact, that we believe it is theorized that it, in the island of stability, that it would and could and probably does exist. So their way of saying it is we can't rule it out. So all these people saying that is pseudoscience, what Bob said about element 115, I wanted to find out, is it pseudoscience? And definitively, we cannot rule out a stabilized form of element 115. I'm sorry, it is not pseudoscience. And after doing this research, that argument no longer holds water.
Makes perfect sense that it could be stable, and scientists have said it for a long time. So of course you can't rule it out. Again, if you want to disbelieve Bob, if you want to cross him off the list and say he's a fraud, then your research goes 1 inch deep, and you say element 115 as he described it can't exist, and then move on. If you want to be honest about it and dig further into it and understand it, then you're going to find out that, in fact, what Bob says does make sense. It can be true.
What if 115 is actually the byproduct of the craft?
Element 115 was what we would call the fuel that provided the power for the reactor to work.
No?
What happens with gravity and 115?
Element 115 affects gravity. Element 115 produces its own gravitational energy. It had a very specific manufacturing technique. I don't really know how that information came to be. Its code name was LA 1000.
Amazon's reliability is untouchable. The rate at which you're able to move your product and the ease that you're able to do it.
That's what it was referred to, off-site. Its purpose was supposed to be, again, this is just the code and deception, was supposed to be an advanced armor. So it's an unusual material, so now we can take it to a national lab. This is LA 1000, classified material. It's a very advanced armor that takes care of all weird questions. So, you immediately start operating on lines. This fuel is in the form of just a three-dimensional thin triangle, little rounded edges. It's somewhat copper in color, that reddish brownish. The way this is manufactured is really critical. It's not just cut out of a heavy sheet of material. A cylinder of this material is taken. This is machined into a cone. So this is, the outer part is shaved off using a lathe or something like that until you have a three-dimensional cone. Once you have the cone, it's sliced like this. And these slices become that. Now, even this starting piece, a solid cylinder, is not even a solid cylinder. It consists of many discs stacked up. And these are fused together to produce that. And all of these steps are necessary to produce a successful triangle that brings fuel. So actually, if you were to look at how this came to be, this would actually be pieces of all these discs that were cut at unusual angles. Now, apparently, if you don't do all this, that doesn't work. So, unfortunately, that's the extent of my knowledge on this. This makes no sense anywhere, but that's what it takes for it to operate. Now, with the alien technology that was present in the craft, it takes that basis, that extra gravitational energy in a small reactor, amplifies it through the equipment there, directs it through the waveguides and archways into the emitters, and allows it to propel the craft and manipulate the gravity wave for whatever use they want.
How can this be true? I don't believe a word of this. If you expect people to believe it.
No, I'm not going to change anyone's mind. That's not my intention. I'm just relaying the experience, the job that I went through. It is a fantastic thing. It's a fantastic story. But it's true. It's true. These crafts came from another, not just another planet, another solar system entirely, extremely far away. And they're here.
I mean, I've been making fireworks since I was 12.
and professional fireworks for at least 20 years. Fireworks are just fun. They're artistic. It's like painting the sky. Controlling a large amount of energy has always been impressive.
Since the New York Times story broke, since Lou Elizondo came forward and said those videos went public, the world is now talking about UFOs in a more serious vein. I think that's a good thing, and I think it reflects positively on Bob Lazar's story. And I hope that the world will take another look at it.
Thus, the jet bike, the jet car.
Yeah, to take, a large amount of energy, which would normally be thought to be out of control, to take that and harness it and have it do what you want has always been impressive.
The easy way out is to say he's a liar, he's making it up. It's hard to go ahead and accept the possibility that he's telling the truth. If I did not believe it.
Yeah.
If I thought for a moment tonight about it.
You still with me there, brother?
Yeah, I'm here.
All right.
Yeah, I had to go to the bathroom and it disconnected me.
Oh, okay.
Word you said for 30 years, and that's affected you.
Oh yeah, I like making sugar rockets.
How is it affected?
That's how I got to become the metal rocket here.
I do. I'd rather not, in a public forum, I'd rather just not say anything.
Why do you think people are so obsessed with every word that you say about your experiences, working?
They're just looking for a way to look for an inaccuracy and to be able to discount the whole thing. Oh, he said this one time and said it's slightly different this time. Obviously he's making it up. No, that's just the first word that entered my mind. I don't put that much thought into it when I'm saying it. Look, as much as a lot of people hate it, this stuff really happened. I mean, if it bothers you, that's too bad.
I think that's just hard for people to accept.
Yeah, it would be. Look, I fully understand. I would feel the same way. I'm not sure I would believe my story. Boy, there's not enough evidence, but I couldn't discount it either.
The fact is, the people that know him best believe him the most. I hope that one thing that comes across in your film is the real Bob. Once you get to know him, it becomes much more plausible as a story. He's not lying to his mom and his wife and all his friends. He's not lying to the UFO world either.
You saw alien ships.
Yeah.
You worked on a gravity wave amplification system trying to figure it out.
Right, a propulsion system and a power source that's completely unknown to mankind.
And there's no way human beings could have made it.
There is no way human beings could have made it under any circumstances, in any country, anywhere, period.
And for 30 years, you are telling us the truth.
You bet.
This shit happened.
You got it.
The fact is that raid that happened in Michigan, that's a very dramatic and very important development. They weren't there looking for records about some customer he had a couple of years ago. They were looking for 115. When you bring 24 agents and investigators and crime lab analysis, and you can bring people to duplicate the whole computers and all that stuff, they're looking for something else. Sure as hell are not looking for a minor receipt. People may not believe that 115 is real, but somebody does, because that's what they came to look for. If you want to cross it off and you don't want to believe it, fine. I don't care anymore whether people believe it or not. But Bob's telling the truth, and once you realize that, it changes everything for you. It changed everything for me.
Thanks to Total Wine, you save more.
Let your mother drink like good dirty.
To track a life open, and it seems to dissect and examine its content is unnerving, like the reading of Holman's way viewing the entrails. We all tell our own stories. Sometimes we even believe them, and sometimes we tell them 1 mile at a time. If you don't believe it, that's your problem. That's your problem. What you do with that is up to you.
Well, I am telling the truth. I've tried to prove that what's going on up there could be the most important event in history. You're talking about contact, physical contact and proof from another system, another planet, another intelligence. That's got to be the biggest event in history, period.
And it's real.
And it's real and it's there. And I had an extremely small part in it, but I'm convinced that what I saw is absolute proof of that. There is no way we could have created those systems. There's no way we could have made the disc, the power supplies, anything to go with it.
Lazar says he has no intention of going on any UFO lecture circuit. He's not looking to do any additional interviews. In fact, he wasn't too crazy about doing this one. He did it after certain unfavorable things started happening in his life, and he did it because he feels that whoever is running the show up at S4 is perpetrating a fraud on the American people and on the scientific community. We intend to have much more about this story, about the operation up there on Monday and beyond. This is by no means the end of this series of reports. In fact, on Monday, including in our story there, support testimony from other people who say they have knowledge of the flying discs at the test site, and information from people who know Lazar very well and insist his story is true.
Even though they have these flying saucers, Georgia, it seems like you really help keep it secret.
Well, yeah, it would seem that way, except for as Lazar.
All right, and that concludes our show for the night. That was the late night watch along with Websy and the Model Rocketeer, and he came back. So yeah, that was a great watch along. I was super happy with that. It was great. And,
I think so. I thought it was awesome. I mean, I really enjoy that kind of stuff, and it's important that we kind of try to share some of those creative ideas. Man, they're out there. Maybe they're out there.
Yeah,
but who
it's
cares?
Just crazy that when he's going through the lengthy process of reestablishing himself in this light, that he gets rated again. Like, I remember when it all happened live. Like, I was paying attention to this stuff live,
right?
And when I got the news that this was happening live, I was like, "Oh shit! What are they going to find? What are they going to find? Nothing. They found nothing, right?"
Right,
else,
right. Well, a bunch of awesome stuff and technology that he's been working on it for a minute.
Yep. I mean, yeah. Other than that, the guy, he sells rare materials. That's what his job is. Like, now, that's what he does. Like, they showed you, he was processing beryllium. That's a rare material. That's not just. It's not easy to just come across that stuff and make that stuff. So, anyways, yeah, that's definitely interesting. I'm always into those UFO type things. I got a few other ones that are really good that I'd like to share with you guys in the future. From Dr. Stephen Greer. I really like all of his product. I like his the way he addresses things, and I've watched all 5 of his films, and his stuff is really good.
Yeah,
so,
the CE5 protocols are something. I'm definitely a CE5 fan, and
I have that same fanship and stuff.
Thanks, Dr. Greer. Thanks, Mr. Lazar or Dr. Lazar, Tyson DeGrasse. Shout out to Joe Rogan. Like, dude, you people are, you know what I mean? Like, you're bringing it out, and we need to hear this. We need to pass this information. I'm listening. I don't know if I'm the next guy that's going to be talking about this, but I'm listening, and I know we need to share it with each other. It's important to share it.
Definitely. So, yeah, and that is the way the cookie crumbles. So we're going to get out of here. You guys have a great